Good morning. It is now the 28th lecture, which is part 2 of our subject of truth. So we we looked at the connection between Jacob and Emet, the word in Hebrew for truth, and we had that Emet had a normal inner value of 252, and we had that Jacob, in English, had a placement value of 252. And then I explained that the three fathers, Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, were connected to the three Sephiroth of Chessed, Gevurah and Tiphereth. Chessed being kindness, Gevurah severity, and Tiphereth is splendor. And Abraham was Chessed, because the verse says, Titan Emet leYaakov, he gave truth to Yaakov, the Chesed leAvraham, and he gave Chesed, kindness, to Abraham. So I'm going to connect Abraham to Chesed, and Abraham is Abraham. We're going to connect the English Abraham to the Hebrew word for kindness, which is chesed. Rather similar to what we did with Jacob, the Hebrew connecting to the English. And chesed, excuse me, we're going to use two values here. We're going to use the large value, which is 174, that's the LV. And we're going to use the normal inner value, which equals 206. That's the normal inner value. So we've got two values there, the large value and the normal inner value. And if we add those together, we'll get 380, which I just call the LNIV for short. So that's 380. And Abraham, if we take the normal inner value, we get 380. So we see a connection between Abraham and Chesed. In English, Chesed is translated as loving kindness. And I'm going to show you a connection between Abraham and loving kindness. So there'll be another connection. Loving kindness, this is pen going as well. Loving kindness has a placement value of 174. That's the PV. Now we take Abraham. Sorry, actually before that. Actually, it's not a connection between Abraham and it's not a connection between Abraham and kindness in English. It's actually an internal one. It's chesed. So that's the connection between chesed, loving kindness, and its Hebrew chesed, 174. So about that, I thought there was an English connection there. There is a connection I've got here between Abraham and Avraham, his Hebrew name, and that one is, if I write it down here in Hebrew, Avraham. And Avraham in Hebrew has a placement value of 41, and it has a large value of 340. That's the LV, and that's the PV. And if I add those, I get 381. And Abraham has a large value, that's the normal inner value is 380, so pretty close. But the large value of Abraham is 381. Large value, LV. So there's a connection between those. You sometimes see that, for example, we had the normal inner value of Abraham equaling the large value plus the normal inner value. And here we have the large value equaling the large value plus the placement value. Sometimes you should get the two together. There's at least one that's occurring twice. So that is the connection between Abraham and Chesed. I'm just going to show something interesting about Chesed, because the word Chesed itself is connected to square numbers. A lot of people spot this if they know the gematria of Hebrew gematria. So we have the word Chesed, and the letter Chet equals 8. The letter Samach in the normal value is 60, and the letter Daled is 4. Now, 4 and 60 is 64, which equals 8 squared, and that's what the first letter is worth. So it's like the second part of the word is the square of the first part. The word Chesed has a placement value of 27. That's 8 plus 15 plus 4. Okay, that's 12, and 15 is 27. That's the placement value. It has a normal value of 72. Add 64 and 8 is 72. So they're reverse digits. That's the normal value. And it also has, if I get lost, so we've got, trying to see how I got that, then I'm going to add to that the normal inner value. The normal inner value is 206, normal inner value. And if I add that together, I get 9 and 6 is 15, 7 and 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10. I get 305. And the word 8 has a large value of 305. So we see this connection between Chesed and the number 8. So I thought that was just an interesting connection there. It's I could go more on that. There's a connection between this and Israel. For example, the word Jew is 38, and that's the placement value. And we take kind, that's 11 plus 9 is 20, plus 14 is 24, plus 4 is 38. So there's this connection between kindness and a Jew, because that is a midah, an attribute which the Jewish people should excel in, because that is what Abraham excelled in. Abraham, when the 3 angels came to him, he rushed out, ran to meet them, to give them, ask them to stay, have some food. He's the epitome of chesed, and it's from Abraham that we should aspire to be hospitable and kind. So that's the connection with the Jewish people. But Jewish people also connect to the word Israel, which you've had before. The word Israel, both in Hebrew and English, are 64. So if I write it in Hebrew, I'm writing the script. I'm not going to be able to fit it on. Yisrael also has a placement value of 64. So we see this intrinsic connection between chesed and kindness and Abraham and the number 64. Perhaps at some time in the future I will go into the mystery of the chessboard, which has 64 squares. If you just think about it, you've got 64, you've got 32 white squares and 32 black squares, and 32 is the much of lave in Hebrew, which is heart. Heart to heart, two things coming together to meet, and that's love. But it seems that the chessboard, the game of chess, is the opposite. It's a war between two nations. So there we are, contradictions in the world. We'll leave that though. So that was Abraham, and now we're going to look at Isaac. So the verse, as I said in the last lecture, was that Jacob said to Laban that if it wasn't for the dread of my father, you'd have let me go empty-handed. So, and the term used is Pachad Yitzchak, the dread of Jacob. So this is Pachad, and we've got a few here. We're going to look at the English, dread. And dread has a normal inner value of 283. NIV. And Yitzchak in Hebrew, as Isaac, Yitzchak in Hebrew has a normal inner value of 283. So they match. Now, if we take Pachad, and we're going to take the placement value of Pachad, which is 29, and we're going to take the large value, which is 280, and we get a sum of 7 for 247. And if we take Yitzchak, and we take the large value of Yitzchak, it's 247. And again, you can see that the large value comes into both of them, but we add the placement value onto it, which gives what I call the whole value. So again, we've got Yitzchak connected to dread in English, Yitzchak connected to Pachad in Hebrew, and that's not the end of the story. If we were to write Pachad in English, which is what we call transliteration, I'm going to change my pen. Don't like that one anymore. So we've got Pachad, and we work out the placement value, 16, 17, 20, 28, 29, 33. That's the placement value. And we write out the word for, in English, for Isaac. And we have 20, 33. So we have a connection between the English for Isaac, or Yitzchak, and the transliteration of Pachad. And that's not where it ends, because we said that the Sephiroth of Isaac is Gevurah. Gevurah is Severity, and that's why it's connected with fear, and Yira in Hebrew, and Pachad. So, Gevurah, we will see a connection between Yitzchak and Gevurah. Do we need the Hebrew? Yes, we do, actually. No, we don't. We don't need the Hebrew. We need the English. The English is Isaac. And we showed again last lecture that was 252, which is the large value, the same as Jacob. So this is interplay between them, and why one gives rise to another. We'll see that again with Abraham. And if we now work out Gevurah, and we work out the placement value, 36. You can see there's a connection with Gevurah and Emet. And we work out the normal value, which is 216, normal value, and we add those together, we get 252. So we actually have a connection, I call that the total value. We have a connection between Isaac and Gevurah. So, and just quickly before I go back onto the word Emet, this is all Emet, everything I give you, because numbers tell the story. Pythagoras, I've got 3 quotes here by Pythagoras. He says that numbers are the highest degree of knowledge. It is knowledge itself. And then he says numbers rule the universe. Wow. And the third quote I've got here is God built the universe on numbers. Basically, that's exactly what the creation story tells us, that God spoke and created the world. And I've explained before that the letters are like the vessel which receives the energy, which is the numbers. So the numbers represent actually the energy of what is, and that will go down all the way back down to the elementary particles beyond. I've been reading recently about string theory. It's not a subject I studied at university. I took physics, and string theory wasn't really up and going then. But I thought, let's have a look at it. And it's interesting that the prayer shawl that Jewish people wear, and there's another subject which I can talk about later on, represents the creation. There are 2 lights of creation in Kabbalah. There's the surrounding light, and there is the inner light that permeates. So when it says holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts, the whole world is filled with his glory, the whole universe is filled with his glory. The holy, holy, holy is the transcendent light of God, which is beyond, we can't see it, it's beyond this natural world, and it's a surrounding light. And then there's the inner light, which is the whole earth is filled with his glory, which permeates into matter and gives rise to matter. Just like you can make matter energy equals matter equals energy, as Einstein showed. And they've shown that you can take gamma rays and produce electron and positrons from it. So we can see that matter can come from light. And so the very essence of the creation is the light. So this is why probably you can't see if I can. My tzitzit are the strings. This is the string theory. This is what comes. This is the inner light that comes and shines out into the creation of the world. So there's an interesting connection between string theory and the tzitzit that we wear, the fringes, which is mentioned in the paragraph in Numbers. So. So we were talking about the connection between, about Abraham. I do go on a tangent. So Abraham has, let's spell Abraham in Hebrew. This is Av, this is father, where Av is 1 and Beit is 2, giving you 3. These are the 3 fathers, the core, the beginning of everything. The Aleph, the flash of light, the beginning. And then the Beit is the expansion into 2. And this is 1 and 2. And then we've got Raham, Avraham. And this gives forth to Raham, and Raham has a normal value of 245, 205 and 40, and it has a placement value of 38, which we had before. Father of kindness, this is the placement value, and if I add those, I get 382. 283. And if I go back and, well, we had it before, we had that Yitzchak in Hebrew, where's my wipe? We had Yitzchak in Hebrew and we had dread in Hebrew, in English, equaling 283. So Yitzchak equals 283, and that was the normal inner values. So we see this connection between that the father, Abraham, gives forth to Raham, is the father of Raham. Raham is his son, 283, which is Yitzchak. Okay, so that is my continuation with the Emet, the story of Emet. That was just sort of like a little bit extra on the side. I'm going to go back and show you where Emet is in the first verse of the Torah, of the 5 books of Moses, in lecture 3. And I think you'll find that lecture quite amazing, because I'm going to show you some things, some of which is not mine, and show how it comes together. All right, have a good week, and we'll see you in lecture 29. Just I've lost my turn off. I'll turn it off manually.